Let's open our Bibles to Luke chapter 10. The message which has been prepared for all of us is a very common one. We have been listening to this message over and over again. But I would bring your mind to recollect those messages once again so that we can learn lessons, what we have missed or maybe forgotten. This is a very known chapter, and the story is of Good Samaritan. Let's pray as we bow our heads. Loving Father in heaven, we thank you for the life we enjoy. Now as we open your word, may your Holy Spirit guide us so that we may learn the truth and draw ourselves closer to you. Accept us as we are and forgive us of our sins. In Jesus' name I pray. When we are at crossroads, we have a question in our minds: which way should we go? We oftentimes do a guesswork. If we don't know where to go, we always take maybe 2-3 guesses and then maybe choose one and then go ahead. The question of our life is very tricky, and we all are faced with different questions in our lives. When I grow up, for children, when I grow up, what will I become? And for parents, what my children will grow up to be. And the most important question for a Christian is, what must I do to go to heaven? Starting from verse 30 of Luke chapter 10. We'll start from verse 29. To begin with, who was asking this question to Jesus? Sorry?
Who was expert in law?
Okay, he was a lawyer by profession. Okay? So the question he asked to Jesus was, verse 29, but he, willing to justify himself, said unto Jesus, who is my neighbor? So answering to the question, who is my neighbor, Jesus answers him by telling the story of Good Samaritan. We all know the story very well. We have heard it over and over again. And we know the story, the outcome of the story. We'll go through once again. Verse 30. And Jesus answering said, a certain man went down from Jerusalem to Jericho and fell among thieves, which stripped him of his raiment and wounded him and departed, leaving him half naked. And by chance there came down a certain priest that way, and when he saw him, he passed by on the side, on the other side. And likewise a Levite, when he was at the place, came and looked on him and passed by on the other side. But a certain Samaritan, as he journeyed, came where he was, and when he saw him, he had compassion on him, and went to him and bound up his wounds, pouring in oil and wine, and set him on his own beast and brought him to an inn and took care of him. And on the morrow when he departed, he took out 2 pence and gave them to the host and said to him, Take care of him, and whatsoever thou spendest more, when I come again, I will repay thee. Which now of these 3 thinkest thou was neighbor unto him that fell among the thieves? And the lawyer answered and said, and he said, he that showed mercy on him. Then Jesus said unto him, Go and do thou likewise. This story of Good Samaritan, this is one of the most well-known parables, one of the most well-known illustrations Jesus ever told. Jesus was the master of all storytellers. He was a master teacher as well. He could spin a tale, spin a story, a parable with meaning and significance that made it not only memorable but profound. This particular tale, this dramatic tale of Good Samaritan is so well known that it has actually become an idiom for unusual sacrificial kindness. We call people Good Samaritans who find people in need and help them in unusual ways. To call someone a Good Samaritan is to grant them a noble compliment. And so, we are very familiar with the story. Christians are all familiar with it, and many non-Christians as well. But what led to this question is more important than the story itself. Let's go back a few verses before. Let's start from verse 25. Luke chapter 10, verse 25. And behold, a certain lawyer stood up and tempted him, saying, Master, what shall I do to inherit eternal life? I'm sure this is a question for each one of us today. What must I do to inherit the kingdom of God? Isn't it? This is a question, if you have not asked, please ask yourself and try to find an answer. So that, as a Christian, we all want to go to heaven, isn't it? And unless you ask question, you won't be provided with an answer. It is very important for us to know how shall we inherit the kingdom of God as a Christian. But as we have read the verse 25, reading it once again, and behold, a certain lawyer stood up and tempted him. When Jesus started his ministry, he was faced with a temptation. And Satan himself came and tempted him. And throughout his ministry, throughout his day, Satan kept on coming in different forms. In the form of demons, in the form of person. For example, this person, lawyer. And tempted him, saying, Master, what shall I do to inherit eternal life? And when Jesus was tempted, what did he say? What was the answer? It is written. And we, as sinners, when Jesus could be tempted every now and then, how much more are we tempted in our daily lives? Have we ever said it is written? Have we ever mentioned the promise of God? We have always depended on ourselves and tried to find solution rather than God. What shall I do to inherit eternal life? Was the main question asked by the lawyer that led on to the Good Samaritan story. Verse 26, he said unto him, what's written in the law? How readest thou? Rather than answering him with an answer, Jesus put forth a question. What's written in the law? How readest thou? Since this person was a lawyer, he was very familiar with the law of the nation, the law of Moses. They would even recite the law morning and evening. Verse 27, and he answering said, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy strength, and with all thy mind, and thy neighbor as thyself. He was quoting Deuteronomy 6:5, chapter 6, verse 5. He was summarizing the whole law and telling, love God and love your neighbor. And he answering said, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy strength, and with all thy mind, and thy neighbor as thyself. And he said unto him, thou hast answered right. This do, and thou shalt live. And Jesus answered him, saying, yes, you have said it right. You do this, you follow, and you live. But the lawyer was not happy with Jesus' answer. Verse 29. But he, willing to justify himself, said unto Jesus, who is my neighbor? The beginning of the conversation we have already read that he was tempting Jesus. He wanted an answer. He thought he was smart. He knew all the law by heart, repeating 2-3 times a day. And to the question which Jesus asked, he could answer, saying, loving God and loving neighbor as thyself, which he was right. And then again, it's the style of Jesus to make the person understand. At this point, Jesus would have just likely refused this person and said, I know your heart. You're trying to test me. Then he went on to tell this story. And this story will unfold the answers to the main question which he asked. What must I do to inherit eternal life? Rather than answering who is the neighbor. At this point, this lawyer, he bypassed God and he straight went to neighbor. What he was trying to say is, I'm okay with God. I love my God. But I have a doubt. Who is my neighbor? And then we go on to read this parable which Jesus told himself to this man who was testing him. A certain man went down from Jerusalem to Jericho. If you look at this map here, and if you know your Bible, Jericho is quite at the low level, and Jerusalem is on top. And during that time, it was a very dangerous route to go to Jericho from Jerusalem. From Manchester to Sheffield, we have something called Snake Pass. So that was also a very dangerous pass, which was mentioned in the Bible. And Jesus gave this example. A certain man went down from Jerusalem to Jericho and fell among thieves, which stripped him of his raiment and wounded him and departed, leaving him half-dead. And by chance there came a certain priest that way. So there was a bit of ray of hope for this wounded man. A priest comes by. Who is the priest, by the way? What are the characters of the priest? What does the Bible advise a priest to do if he sees any person in need? Who's known the law very well? Leviticus 19, 18, Deuteronomy 6, 4 and 5. Can someone read for me, please?
Leviticus chapter 19, verses 18 says, Thou shalt not avenge, nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord.
Okay, so loving meaning taking care of them, isn't it? So this was the first priest, supposed to know the Bible very well, and is supposed to be a teacher, preacher, and guiding people. So he was a leader, he was a minister. He was supposed to be giving an example to others. But here we see that this person bypassed the injured man and he goes his way. And by chance there came a certain priest that way, and when he saw him, he passed by on the other side. And likewise, there was another person, Levite. When he was at the place, came and looked on him and passed on the other side. But a certain Samaritan, as he journeyed, came. So the first two, the known members of the Jews, were supposed to know the law and follow and obey the law. They ignored this wounded person. But we see here the Samaritan, as he journeyed, came where he was, and when he saw him, had compassion on him, and went to him, bound up his wound, pouring in oil and wine, and set him on his way, on his own beast, and brought him to an inn, and took care of him. And on the morrow, when he departed, he took out 2 pence and gave them to the host, and said unto him, Take care of him, and whatsoever thou spendest more, when I come again, I will repay thee. So we see that Samaritan stopped by, looked at the man, cared for his wounds, took the injured man on the beast whom he was walking along, took him to an inn, and he cared for him all night. And the next morning, he he told to the innkeeper, take care of him because I'm going on my journey, I'll come back and pay you. Before going, he paid 2 pence. How much was 2 pence during the time? How much do you think a penny was during Jesus' time? Do you have any mention in the Bible? Okay, feeding 5,000. Peter, was it Peter? Yeah, Peter was saying, should we spend 200 pence to feed these people? So if we divide 5,000 by 200, how much 1 pence would feed? Mathematicians. 5,000 divided by 200. How much? 25. Okay, so 1 pence would feed 25, at least 25 people. And there was another example in the Bible which says 1 penny a day for normal labor. So how much is a normal basic pay for a person in UK? What is the basic rate? What is the average minimum basic rate a person gets in UK? Yeah, around 8 pounds. 7 something. Okay, let's round it up to 8. See if a person works for 8 hours. 8 times 8 is 64 times 2. 124. Okay, so this Samaritan gives the innkeeper 120 or 30 pounds. After caring all night of the wounded person and promising the innkeeper, giving him a full open account, care for this person, and when I come back I'll pay you in full. How much you and I can do? If we are asked, or if someone on the street asks us, maybe at the most we might give a penny or a pound to a beggar in need. And this Samaritan does this to an unknown person, taking care. He postponed his journey. He stopped what he was doing and cared for this person. Whole night. And the next morning, he went with the promise that he's going to pay whatever the innkeeper is going to spend on him. The cost of the inn during that time, I was looking at how much the innkeeper charges. A penny would cost around 25 to 30 days. That was the worth. If I give a penny to an innkeeper, he would keep me for around 25 to 30 days. So, if you have to look at 2 penny, it could keep this person for maybe 2 months or so. That was the value of the penny. And what is the price per night if you have to go and travel lodge? Minimum 25 or 30 pounds times 60, or maybe let's say 1 month. How much would it cost? Are you and me willing to spend that much for a stranger in need? What does the law say? What did the lawyer give the answer? Loving God and loving neighbor as thyself. We would only do for ourselves that much, what Samaritan had done. We want the best thing in life, isn't it? We don't bother about others. I want the best treatment. I want the best doctor to see me. I want the best hotel for myself. Good Samaritan. This Samaritan demonstrated God's love. What Jesus was trying to give an answer to this person was, that is the kind of love you should demonstrate. And as the lawyer answered, and verse 27, and he answering said, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy strength, and with all thy mind, and thy neighbor as thyself. Thou shalt love, meaning it is a continuous affair. It's not love him and forget him. So loving God continually, not in phases. Okay, now I'm in mood, so let me pray. Now I've got my salary, so let me help. It is a continual affair. It is a continuous thing which God expects each one of us to love. We can see ourselves, our friends, our neighbors. So God wants each one of us to love our neighbors, love our fellow men who are in need with all our heart. Rather than picking and choosing, okay, this person is my friend, so I'm going to help this person only. And that too, for my friend, I can afford this much, I can do this much. We are selective. We have a very good community of church members here. We all help each other in times of need. And we do our best to help each other in times of need. And I'm very much happy and thankful to each one of you to help each one of us during our time of need. But God expects us to do more than what we normally do. He says, with all your heart, as you would love yourself. You won't make a compromise if you have to do for yourself. But sometimes we do compromise to take care of ourselves. God, isn't it? Rather than taking care of our body as God wants us to do, we most of the time we go by the taste, we go by the worldly standards, we want to fit in. But God doesn't desire all this from us. He wants us to love Him and love our fellow men. Unless we develop a relationship with our fellow men, it becomes difficult for us to have connection with God. Let's read this quote. Often we have been told that our cities are to hear the message, but how slow we are to heed the instruction. I saw one standing on a high platform with arms extended. He turned and pointed in the direction, saying, "A world perishing in ignorance of God's holy law, and Seventh-day Adventists are in sleep. The Lord is pleading for laborers, for there is a great work to be done. There are conversions to be made that will add to the church, such as shall be saved. Men and women in the highways and byways are to be preached." Evangelism, page 32. So what is the state of the church? So what are we required to do? We need to be woken up from our sleep. Sometimes we listen to the message, we get excited, but we are in the treadmill. In treadmill, what happens? We keep running and running, but we are in the same place. We spend all our energy and we are still in the same place. This is the state of each one of us. We think we are doing something, but we are in the same place. It is high time that we all wake up and do God's will. What is the commission which God has given to each one of us? Great Commission? Where is it found? 1928. What does it say? I think they should be on top of that.
Go ye therefore and preach all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost.
So if we are sleeping as a church, and if we are stationary, like in the treadmill, how will we go? How will we preach? The message today is John 14:15, which was our scripture. What does it say? If you love me, keep my commandments. And the love was demonstrated by Good Samaritan. With all your heart, as you would love yourself. So I would request each one of you, if you love Jesus, keep the commandment. And I would ask each one of you to love yourself more, so that when you follow God's commandment, which says, love the Lord your God with all thy heart, with all the soul, and with all the strength, and with all thy mind, and thy neighbor as thyself. So the more you love yourself, the more you love others. The message today is simple and clear for us to love Him with all our heart and with all our soul, so that the question which was asked by the lawyer, what must I do to go to heaven? I'm sure you'll get the answer. Thank you.